Well, hello everyone. Hello. Hello chat. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What time of day is it where you are? Is this a morning class, an afternoon class, or an evening class? Hello. Hello chat. One of you guys use the Menchie hello emote. You want to say hello to Menchie? Menchie took over my nail cam. It is now officially referred to as the Menchie cam instead of the nail cam. It's midnight. Oh my god, it's a late evening class. Welcome on in everybody. Whatever time of day it is, I hope it is a good time of day for you because it's class time. It's time to come prepared. I will be your professor, teacher, Christine of SimplyNailClass, and as a disclaimer, I am not a licensed nail technician. That's right, I have absolutely zero formal education. I have no formal accreditation in nail painting, nail hygiene, and any of that. I went to school for criminology and sociology. But I am a hobbyist. I love nails. I have loved painting nails since I was in high school. And, I guess you could say I've become an expert in the sense that it is a hobby that I am obsessed with and I love doing. So that is the extent of my knowledge. What a new information. I know, right? It's news to everyone. But I do feel like it is fair if I'm going to host a stream called Nails for Noobs or suggest I'm teaching a class. It needs to be clear. Teach us about abolition and Ben, I can't even speak those words right now. My mind is too tired. Ben wants me to talk about critical criminology. We are not doing that today. Accreditation? Wait, is that how it's pronounced? What? That's not how it's pronounced? How else do you pronounce accreditation? Accredited? There's two different words. What? What are we learning? Is it English? Well, hello everyone from around the world. It's great to have you here. You could be a teacher, you know more than most. No, that's absolutely not true. I feel like everyone could be a teacher for many different things, for what they know the most, because a lot of people know a lot of things. But respectively, right? A lot of individuals, respectively, within their own individual mindset and knowledge, have a lot of knowledge about one or a few things in particular. One of those things that I know a lot about is nails. So that's what we're going to do here. Welcome to the mods. Thank you, mods, who are here. We have quite a few hanging around here, which is awesome. We have them kind of cycle in and out whenever they're available. But yeah, good to see you guys here in the chat. And yeah, I'm excited. I do have a course curriculum to share with you. But just as a general, high level objective, what we're doing here today is this is the beginner level class. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. We'll call it a master class, whatever. But I kind of just want to give people who feel like they don't know what they're doing, they don't know where to begin, they're confused, they get overwhelmed from watching some nail art tutorials, they want to know where to begin, and they do need a bit more time and explanation on some things that I take for granted as common knowledge, because it's not common knowledge to everyone who's, just trying to learn and figure it out. How long do I wait in between coats? Do I need a top coat or a base coat? How not to flood my cuticles? Do I even need to clean my cuticles? And so while I know this stream could hypothetically last an entire week, 24 hours, 7 days, nonstop, because there are so many questions, I have curated some of the most upvoted questions that were posted on the SimplyNailClass community page. So thank you guys in advance if you had left some questions. I've picked just a couple because I know that I'm going to end up answering live questions in the chat as we go, and there's always going to be more questions that come up. This isn't going to be about nail care, because I feel like that's a whole other topic. This is mostly about nail painting. So what do you need to paint nails? The basics of nail painting. And we're not doing nail art either. That's advanced level. And this also isn't a HOLO Taco stream. Like, yes, obviously I'm going to use HOLO Taco and you can ask a question about it, but I'm really just trying to come at it from a general nail polish. This can apply to any regular nail polish, not gel polish, regular nail polish. But that could be another question that you might have in the chat too. I can't believe I caught a live. Well, welcome, Laura. It's always fun when people come and catch a live and they're like, holy shit, this is right now, right here, right now. Yes, this is right here, right now. I am sitting here right now if you're here right now. But if you are watching this as a VOD, a video on demand after the show, that's cool too. I do leave my streams up on my channel on purpose so people can watch them on their own time. Although I will suggest and highly recommend that it's always more fun to be here if you can live, because then you can drop something in the chat and, you know, I can see it and read it. I hope Bentendo is going to take notes. He's a swatcher boy. Now, Ben Sheriff. Oh, that's the emoji. Ben's copying me comments. Yeah, Ben, are you going to take notes? Ben's been swatching. I help him swatch. So, you know, he does have me by his side. But you may not. Well, you do today. Today I am by everyone's side. Right, Menchie? All right, let me show you my curriculum. Welcome, class. Welcome on in to SimplyNailClass 101. This is beginner level. If this class is not for you, then there's the door. There's the X button. Also, tuition is free. There's no fee required to enter this class, but there will be an exam. I do not have an entire PowerPoint. I'm only presenting the course curriculum. The contents of the actual course will just be a macro view of my hands and nails. But you're welcome to take screenshots. You're welcome to take notes. But I did want to put together a general outline for what we're going to talk about here today. I love that this is free. What else would it be? I mean, I guess people charge for like master classes. I guess that is a thing. I don't know. Okay, course curriculum will include things such as, but not limited to, because who knows where this will go, what you need to paint nails, including such as nail polish, how to make polish last. One of the most common questions I get is, my nails come off too quickly, I would like to make them last longer, and I will do my best to give you some tips, but there is a lot of nuance there, and there isn't always a simple answer for everyone. How the hell to paint, which will include topics such as flooding, which is when the nail polish bloop goes into your cuticles, which is usually not a good look. Technique, how to paint, how do I stroke, how many strokes, how many coats is good or bad, and cleanup. Should you clean up? How do you clean up? The most effective ways to clean up. Wrapping the tip and other tips. A great tip. You've probably seen me do it many times, and I know many people are confused about what that means or its purpose, but it's a great trick, and I'm going to show you. Thank you, Ben. I've got my T. That's my TA. Oh, yeah. Ben is my teacher's assistant. My T. My TA. You want to take this off, Mitch? Yeah, you can put it on my nose. Oh, I got it. Sorry. Hold on, class. Yeah, you could put it on Menchie. You want to... Yeah. Put it here for my nails. Menchie, we gotta take the camera away from you. But she's so cute. She's so weird. Why did she like sit upside down? Menchie, gravity's the other way. So I'll be like here. Does Ben have his own peely bag now that he's a swatcher? No, he doesn't use peely bags. He just takes it off the usual way. Do you want it more macro? Can you without getting in the way of face cam? I need to plug in my tea too. I need to plug in the tea warmer. Okay. So try and get it a little bit more where my hand is. Move it over, or sorry, because you can't see the chat. So move it more this way. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's good. Yeah, my yellow nails. Yeah.
Don't lick the bed. Stop licking your bed. Stop licking your bed.
I can't go to Menchie. Okay, we weren't done the curriculum. Ben, can you plug in my tea warmer?
Stop licking your bed.
There's chaos here, Ben.
Oh, no. Where's the tea warmer?
Oh, just this one cord right there, yeah. Okay, where were we? Dry time is how long? Dry time does require some time, but we'll kind of go through it, and I do have a timer.
Will there be a midterm or only a final exam?
Only a final exam, and you guys can submit them on Twitter, on Instagram, and you can use the hashtag #PaintWithSimply so I can see the results.
Do I have to do all the grading if I'm the TA though?
The grading is accomplished by just liking.
Just a like. Okay.
A like. You all get likes. This is one of those like completion assignments. If you complete the assignment, you win. You pass. And then another common question I always get is avoiding bed sheet imprints. So people always say, I go to bed after I painted my nails and I wake up with bed sheet imprints. What the hell? How do I prevent that? And I got some tips for you, such as using a good quick dry top coat, but not to spoil it. Those are just some high level things for what we're going to talk about. I'm sure we're going to get to other questions. So yeah. I appreciate you guys putting questions already in the chat, but I'm not going to be able to go back in time and read them, so I will look at some as I go, as I kind of walk through painting nails. Let's just start with some of the questions that I got from you guys on the Simply Not Logical community page. So I'm going to do that first. Say hello to my yellow nails. Just in case there are new people here, I would like to offer the disclaimer that my nails are different than your nails for a number of reasons. The primary one is that I paint them more, like way more often, 20 times more often than an average person would paint their nails. And I often use a base coat that doesn't necessarily protect against staining because it's designed to peel off quickly. Why do I do that? Because I'm a swatcher, because I'm constantly taking pictures of different colors of nail polish for upcoming collections. I'm also testing a bunch of different things, and it's just more efficient for me to be able to peel them off, purely out of efficiency. We don't judge yellow nails. We love them. Yes, I appreciate that most of you know exactly the deal. But, you know, there's some people who don't understand, who see yellow nails and they think, ew, you're dirty, you should clean it, or you should stop smoking cigarettes, or you're obviously a drug addict. And I've gotten those comments since 2014. I've laughed at every single one of them. But I do understand that occasionally there is someone who just doesn't know. Your nails may be yellow because of fungus or health infection. It's possible. But my nails are yellow because they're just stained from pigmented polishes. So don't worry about me. I am very healthy. Just had to put that out there for the doctors in the chat. When my nails started turning yellow, I was so excited. Peach. Thank you, Peach. I do see people saying that. I love candy corn. Thank you, Kim. You can see if you analyze, just, you know, for the doctors out there, the nail growing from the root is not yellow or orange or discolored, right? It's only discolored up beyond the root. It's not really a root. From the cuticle where nail growth begins. It's discolored because I did that. I stained it from repeated use beyond what normal people do. A lot of other nail swatchers relate to this. You'll notice some of them have yellow nails, but the average person doesn't. That's all. My right hand is actually like way less yellow than this hand, so because I'm more often painting this hand. All right, there, disclaimer out of the way. No one needs to worry about my health. All right. Another thing I do want to add about how my nails are different than yours is that because I am constantly painting and stripping them, I do have like, you know, more kind of dense. I also think I have eczema. No, I don't think I have eczema. I know I have eczema, which causes a little, like some pits in my nails. I'm kind of rough on them sometimes. So my nails are going to be different than yours for a few reasons. And everyone is different. It depends how you care for them. It depends the wear and tear on your nails. So I will try to give answers the best I can that will apply to the average person and not just me and, you know, the average swatcher, which has a very different nail type. What's on your other hand? What's on my other hand? I have been wearing this manicure for over a week. You want some tips on how to do that? I'm wearing Shady Navy, one of our new Winter Shimmers creme polishes, Celestial Lights, which is a new shimmer, and Flaky Hollow Taco on top, and it creates like this really nice galaxy combo. I love it. Okay, let's get into it. The first question I got was from AK. How do I start with painting my nails? Because honestly, as an avid viewer of your channel, the amount of products you use on a nail painting stream intimidates me enough to not paint my nails. And we don't want that. We don't want anyone feeling intimidated away from painting. So let me just start and say straight up, you gotta buy some nail polish. Nail polish is available in many different places. There's specialty nail polish, special effects nail polish, all different formulas. But if you just want to go with like a basic, your drugstore even would have a nail polish that is a color. Pick a color that you like. I'm going to use cremes here just to demonstrate my painting technique because I think it'll translate better on camera. I will always suggest that you need a base coat and a top coat. Okay, so 3 things that I would recommend for the best results in a manicure is to pick a base coat, pick the color you want to paint your nails, and then a top coat. And I'll explain why you need those 3 things. I have seen people kind of sacrifice, you know, in order to minimize the number of steps. But if you want the best looking and longest lasting manicure, these are the 3 steps that you need: base, color, top. Quick dry top coat, to be specific. Now, the type of base coat you pick can vary depending on your needs. I don't even have my smoothing base in here. It's in the other room. But there are a few different types of base coats. Hold on, I'm gonna grab it. Oh my god, the teacher was not prepared. The teacher wasn't prepared. Okay. Obviously, this is just HOLO Taco, but these iterations of base coats exist across many other brands and in the drugstore too. So there's like long-lasting style base coats that are designed to anchor the polish to the nail. They normally help by just like acting like a sticky surface. There's peel-off base coats, which are less common for the average person, so this probably isn't something that the average person would be looking for, but people do use it if they want to peel off their manicure easily. And some regular people might use it if they're working with glitter polishes, because glitter polishes are annoying to take off. So you could use a peely base coat for that. Ben doesn't use a top or base coat, and Christine gets mad at me. Yes, I know. I always get mad at him. And then his nails stain more because he's not using a like regular base coat. And I'm like, I told you, but like, it's up to you. It's fine if you want stained nails, but like, you know what I mean? And then there's smoothing base is another, a smoothing base coat that's like descriptive, not just the name of this product. But a smoothing one is often for people who have uneven nails, like little dents in their nails. You might suffer from eczema like I do. You might have ridges in your nails, which can be related to like a number of different things. It's not a bad thing. It's actually very common for people to have uneven nails. But then another good reason why people might opt for like a smoothing base coat is if you are going to end up picking a nail polish that will really show imperfections in the nail. So it'll help level out the polish over top. It'll give it a nice smooth primer. It's like when you paint a room, you need primer usually, right? Like, have you ever like asked I don't know if you've ever painted your own room or heard your parents or someone paint a room, but it's like you got to paint with primer first because you got to get all the little ridges out of the wall, and then you put the color on. Because if you put the color on and there's like ridges underneath, they're going to be more obvious. So smoothing base will help with that, and it's more effective and more noticeable if you're using it under something like a multi-chrome, because that'll show imperfections and dents, or even a creme polish sometimes, because it's not very forgiving if it doesn't have like special effects sparkling everywhere. Does that make sense? Like a primer with makeup too, yeah. I need smoothing base for my middle fingers. For some reason, they're my only nails with intense ridges. Yeah, Lauren, and there's many people who have like some ridges on one and not the other. It just happens. It's very normal. I just think people don't really like think about it that way. But it can be beneficial for sure. And a smoothing base isn't necessarily like not long lasting. So I don't want to put it that way. It just depends, where does your priority lie? So here's the thing. People are like, but do I have to wear a base coat? And the answer is like, no. I'm not going to force you to wear a base coat. You can absolutely just put this on your nails and not wear a base coat. That's fine. But it may not last as long. It may not apply as evenly. And it may stain your natural nail. If you care about any of those things, then you might want to use a base coat. If you don't care about those things, then yeah, don't use a base coat, it's fine. You do you. But if you're asking for advice, I do suggest picking a base coat, and usually just one base coat. So I see people asking, can I use 2 or more? I would not voluntarily increase the number of layers that you're going to put on your nails, unless it's like for special effect purposes, because you're not trying to go to Polished Mountain, right? Don't add extra layers that aren't needed, because the thicker your manicure, the more likely it might pop off, because you're building the paint into like a thicker, lacquer. So I wouldn't layer all 3 of these. I wouldn't even layer these 2. The only ones that I personally layer, and I think like it kind of makes sense, is if you want to be able to peel it off, but you want to add a smooth surface area because your nails are quite uneven. Peely base is a very thin base coat by definition, because it's a water-based base coat, so it goes on like really thin. Whereas these are a little thicker, so I wouldn't use these together, but you could hypothetically use these together. These contradict each other though, because peely base is supposed to come off easier and long-lasting base is supposed to stay longer. So this is like an oxymoron. Doesn't really make sense. I often use these 2 together for swatching, but I have very specific needs for, what I'm trying to do here that I don't think applies to everyone here. Okay, so let's move on from base coats. For the purposes of demonstration, I will use smoothing base just because you'll be able to observe what it does to a dented nail. So you won't be able to observe what long-lasting base does. It goes on clear. It doesn't actually like go on blue. So I'm going to use this one. But let's just see what question number 2 had. Okay, this is a great question, but I'm going to get to it in a second, right after I paint my base coat, because we're going to do some painting and then answering. Do you file your nails? Yes, I already pre-filed my nails. I use a glass nail file. Some people cringe at the glass, but I don't see why it's any more cringy than using an emery board or a metal file. Glass nail files are very effective. They file down a lot more like efficiently. They're quicker and they help seal the edges much better than an emery board file. They are more expensive, right? Like, so you're gonna pay like $10 for a glass file versus like $1 for an emery board file. But an emery board one gets easily destroyed and they don't last very long, and you have to throw them out after some time. Glass file, you just gotta rinse it with water and then you can keep using it. But maybe I'll save more of the glass filing discussion for nail care if we do that stream at some point in the future. This is the nail painting for beginners stream. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint on smoothing base coat. Long lasting is not blue. Here, I will paint this on one nail to prove it to you. It's just a tint. It's common in some base coats to put a tint in just so you can differentiate it from other base coats or top coats. See? Oh, it's blurring, but it does go on clear. See? It looks a little bit blue on the brush. And this is not just HOLO Taco. There are many base coats that have different tints. I've seen pink ones, I've seen purple ones. It's really just to help you identify the product. It doesn't actually do anything to the nail. I mean, there does exist base coats that do have a purple tint intentionally in attempt to nullify a yellow nail. So that also exists. But I would say that that's like less common. All right, so that was long lasting base. I'm gonna paint my other nails in smoothing base, so you'll see the difference. And let me just show you how I'm like taking it out of the bottle. So I don't want to overload my brush. I just want like a little bit like this. So I like to keep one side of the brush, like the top side, has a bit of product on it, but the other side I've mostly wiped it off. I'm gonna have to redo that just to allow the focus to come back to my nails. Okay, so then I put the side with the product on it down on my nail, and I drag it from the cuticle to the edge. Now I'm someone with longer nails, so I like to go back in and dip quickly to get a second little dip if I didn't have quite enough. I much prefer going back into the bottle rather than over flooding the nail, and that logic is the same for when I'm applying color. And in terms of wrapping the tip, I know that's a question. I do wrap the tip at every stage. The only exception is with a peely base. If you're trying to put on a peely base but you want to make it last longer, it's better to not wrap the tip so the tip has something to like anchor it around. But that's like more of an expert conversation. So you can see smoothing base has kind of acted as like a BB cream for my nail. It's a bit less yellow or orange. I try to wrap the tip and it gets messy because I have short nails. Yes, silly munchkins for life. That is an excellent question. I do think I want to do an entire stream on short nails because I would need to use Ben as my model. It's hard for me to demonstrate that when I don't have short nails. It is possible to wrap the tip for short nails, but there are some things you can do to prevent the polish from getting on like the tip of your finger, such as using something like a liquid latex or going back in with the cleanup brush immediately after. But I'm gonna do that with Ben. So that's gonna be a separate stream, like short nail hacks or something. And Ben will be my model. Ben, you've been chosen. Sorry. All right, Chad is very excited for a short nail stream. And Ben's like, what? Ben says, what? But yeah, it's easier for me to demonstrate it, and it will be more valuable for you if we wait for Ben and use him for that rather than me just like explaining it, because I can't show you. Ben is the chosen one. Okay, so in terms of how much product I'm putting, I saw that question again. I try not to overload the brush. Like, yes, I want a good amount when I do the dip, but then I kind of want to wiggle some of it off. So that's how much I have. And then I'm going to flip it over. So you have flipped. Now I kind of have too much. See, I'll take it up, I'll let some of it drip off, but I'll keep one side with like a little bulb and the other side flat. And then I'll take the side with the bulb, I'll flip my brush over, and I will put the bulb side down in the cuticle. Focus, focus. There we go. And it's okay to kind of repeat a couple strokes just to get it even. But you got to do it quickly so that it doesn't, you know, start to dry. Then there, I'm just gonna gently wrap the tip again. Okay, that's how you do it? Yeah, that's how you do it. And everyone kind of has a different technique. I do want to say that I observe a lot of people, you know, who swatch and paint their nails. And some people will do more like quick, fast strokes. Some people will do more longer, deliberate strokes like this. And I think all of it works, really. It's not, there is no really one best way. It's kind of just what you get good at. It's like people who do art, right? There's different ways to sketch and different techniques. It's just the end result. I mean, I guess it's different in art because the end result does change with different techniques. But for nail painting, it's just how you perfect your own technique. And if it works for you, then, you know, it works. And if it doesn't work, like if you find that it's going on way too thick or you're overloading the cuticles, then maybe it's time to try a different technique. Try less on the brush. Try slower. Try a bit quicker if you're working too slow. It's like trying the opposite things you haven't been doing. And I also find it really valuable to observe how other people paint their nails. I know that's why you're here, but also if I could just recommend, like, go on Instagram, find some nail swatchers who do nail painting, like reels or videos or YouTube videos, and they do swatch demos. Maybe they're swatching a collection. A lot of people will swatch like HOLO THERE's collection, and just so they can showcase how it applies. But you can also learn from watching them and their techniques of how they paint. And that sounds like such a simple, taken for granted thing, but I think it can be really valuable for a beginner to observe how someone paints, how quickly they do it. Different swatchers have different nail lengths. So highly recommend just opening your horizon and doing research on how people paint their nails. Observe them. Kelly Marissa video shows how to do it. Yes, she's another great one as well. She has short nails, so if you have short nails, you can watch any of her swatch videos. I think it's really helpful. Anyone else drinking tea right now? Yes. Drinking tea while my base coat dries. How many coats of a base coat? Just one. You should only need one, generally speaking. I'm just gonna paint my thumbnail as I explain. I have this stupid mark from the gym. Well, my home gym, if you want to call it that. I pinched it and now it's still there. Anyways, this matters to no one but me. But, you know, I am a swatcher. Alright, you'll get a little bit of a closer view of my last nail here. And do you see how I'm not shoving the brush into the cuticle? Like I'm stopping just shy. I kind of pause a bit and then I go bloop, pause near the cuticle and then up. And the length at which you drag it will obviously vary depending on your nail length. I have very long nails. How long do we wait for base coats to dry? So it can vary depending on the base coat that you're using. I generally recommend... Okay, so here's some logic. If you're painting all 10 nails and you're painting them carefully and slowly, kind of like how I just did, but without all the talking in between, then by the time you get to the 10th nail, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, by the time I get to this pinky, I'm probably safe to go back to the beginning and start painting on my color. Okay, so on average that would be 10, I want to say 10, maybe 20 minutes. That sounds like a long time, but if you're being careful and taking your time, taking a tea break in between painting, you know, taking a breath maybe, then it can take 10 to 20 minutes to do the one coat. Okay, so for me, it's not really like a set amount of time. I don't want to say it must be exactly 20 minutes because there are a lot of other variables that enter the picture, such as the heat and humidity in your location, such as the type of product you're using. Different products like have different dry times, such as how porous your nail is. If you have really porous nails, that means that they're like rougher almost, and they absorb polish, and these porous nails almost want to like suck the polish in. I find it dries quicker on nails like that. My nails are very porous, but a lot of newbies' nails are the opposite. They're very shiny naturally, and polish tends to have a harder time sticking to it as a result, and it might take a little bit longer to dry. Simply, you forgot the most important rule. Pee before you polish. Yes, always pee before you polish. Or just paint one hand, so you can use like your hand that's dry, you know, to assist. I'm always painting one hand at a time. I know, I'm like, I'm not average. Another trick you can do to see if your base coat is dry is just to observe it. So when we first painted long-lasting base coat on, it was shiny in like a glossy way, right? Like it looked wet. Although it is glossy now, at an angle, you can see that it looks like it's sunken in, it's dry. You can see the damage on my nail just from, you know, being a hack and stripping it all the time. But there is an observable difference between when you first paint it on and it's like clearly wet versus when it starts to set in. So if I were to gently tap it, I can already tell it's dry. Now this finger, let's check this one. It doesn't look as wet, and when I tap it, it is dry. Yeah. Dry to the touch is what we're going for here. It doesn't have to be like completely dry. Like obviously if I jab it with my nail, I'm gonna make a dent in it. Generally speaking, you do want to let each coat of polish dry, because if you don't, if I were to go back in like super quickly here and they were still like wet, I'm gonna drag the polish underneath with my next brush stroke. And that can cause a whole bunch of other complications that, you know, it'll just look ugly. Okay, that's how you screw up your nails, is if you go in too quickly. So it is important to have some patience to let your nails dry between each coat, but that doesn't mean waiting like 2 hours either. When I say dry, and when companies say let dry, they generally don't mean wait like 4 hours. They mean like wait until it's, you know, it's set, it's touch dry. And if you were to go back and like very gently tap, it's not gonna be wet and come off. Does that make sense? There's a little bit of kind of common sense that comes into play, but I also recognize that not everyone is gonna know that. So I'm trying to do my best to explain the very details. What about nail fans or dryers? Well, first let me just clarify that we're working with regular polish, regular base coat polish and top coats, which are not gel polish. Gel polish requires a UV activated light, like those lamps that cure it. They go and then they cure it. It's an entirely different formula and technology. And yeah, so that's drying with a lamp. Drying with a fan or a dryer that just blows air. I mean, like, I don't know, you could. If you want to blow a fan on your nails, you could, but I also wouldn't recommend blowing like a super powerful fan on really wet nail polish, because if it's so powerful, what if the nail polish just goes do you know what I mean? I guess it depends how late, or how not late, how wet your nails are. But Some people might find that it's helpful. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I would rather just let my polish sit in the place that I painted it and, you know, wait 10 minutes for it to be dry. 10 minutes approximately. Does gel polish work without a UV lamp? No. The definition of gel polish, real gel polish, requires a UV lamp to work, which is why it's usually not something that the average consumer wants or does themselves at home, because there is that added complication of needing to use like LED or UV lamps. That's a technology that not everyone wants to do at home, I guess. It's more common in salons. Ben, the tea is good. The tea is good. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions in chat that I already have curated here, so I'm gonna pull these back up. I think this is a common one that many of you want to know the answer to. From Royal Renya, it doesn't matter if I use a base coat or a top coat or both. I can never get my nails to go longer than a day without chipping. I honestly have no idea how you manage to go a week with perfect looking nails. Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment, for saying I have perfect looking nails. I'm an unrealistic beauty expectation though, because of my time and commitment that I have put into my nails. Just being honest here, right? Okay. There is a good video if you're looking for like a very brief description or summary of this. I did post 2 videos about this in the past. There's one on my channel called How to Make Your Mani Last on SimplyNailClass from like 5 years ago. And then there's one on the HOLO THERE channel, How to Make Your Nail Polish Last or something. There's a version of it for regular, like long-lasting base questions. And then there's a version of it for if you're using peely base. Tips to how to make peely base last, which is a different question. But I will just address this as if it's the person asking for how to make any manicure last. We're not talking peely base. We're just talking like, I used a long-lasting base coat and it still won't stay on. Okay. There are many reasons why nail polish falls off. And some of them are out of your control. Some of them are in your control. The ones that are out of your control include your body chemistry and how your natural nail plate reacts to the base coat. Not all base coats work for every person. And I don't want to say not necessarily work, but some base coats work better for some people than they do for other people. So it might just be a question of changing the base coat. But before you even worry about that and consider like, is it my nail body chemistry? There are so many good tips that I'm not sure that people realize that they should be doing to help them extend the wear of their manicure. So the first thing is make sure that your nails are completely dehydrated before applying a base coat, which I didn't even do. But by that, I mean like clean your hands, wash your hands, and then take nail polish remover. I recommend pure acetone, 100%, cosmetic grade, not industrial. So should say like for nails on it. You can also use a nail dehydrator, but most people don't know what that is and they're not going to buy it, but it works just the same. And the reason why I say pure acetone instead of a nail polish remover is because a lot of nail polish removers have like oils in them. So if you use that on your nail and you put in oil, then you are defeating the purpose of stripping the nail of oil. The point here is to strip the nail of oil so you can properly anchor the base coat onto the nail. A base coat will not stick to oil. It's gonna come off more easily if you've just put hand cream on and didn't take that off of your nails. If you just put nail oil on and didn't properly strip it off the nail surface before applying the base coat. So that's why it's important to take like pure nail polish remover or acetone that doesn't have oil in it first and strip the nail. And to do that I would normally just dip a Q-tip in acetone, and then literally, I don't want to put it on like my base coat now, and then I would literally just go like this and strip it. The word strip sounds like violent, but it's not. I mean, like, I'm ridding the oils of my natural nail, and you should do this whether you moisturized or not. There's just natural oil on your nail all the time. Should you nail oil your nails before painting? I find that the acetone makes my cuticles really dry. So another great question. Let me just take that off. I nail oil all the time. However, you shouldn't nail oil right before you paint. If you want to like nail oil and moisturize your entire hand, that's fine. But before you go to paint, you got to take that acetone on the Q-tip, and then you got to scrub the nail clean of it before you put paint on, if you want your nail polish to last longer. If you don't care, if you don't care and you're like me because you're a swatcher, then like it doesn't really matter. But for the average person, you should be properly cleaning the nail of residual oils before applying your base coat, because if you don't, it's more likely that the polish is going to come off easier because oil has been trapped in between your nail plate and then the next layer of polish, which is your base coat. In order to counteract the really dry cuticles, after your nails are dry, like 20 to 30 minutes after your top coat has dried, then I would replenish your nails and cuticles with oil. And then, every twice a day after that until your manicure's done and you want to take it off. Does that make sense? Yes, you can nail oil if you're wearing nail polish, absolutely. You just take your nail oil. You just take your nail oil and you know, and underneath. If you have short nails too, you're gonna get under it. But this isn't the nail care stream, but but I did just want to showcase that, yeah, you can absolutely nail oil your nails after you're done with the painting and they're dry to help keep your cuticles nice. Okay. But in terms of keeping your nail polish on and making it last longer, the nail prep that I just described in terms of cleaning the nail plate is probably like the number one important thing that so many people overlook. They don't properly clean the nail plate and then they just go ahead and slap on a base coat and wonder why it peeled off. It probably peeled off because you had either natural or added oils from nail oil, moisturizer, shampoo, whatever on your nail. You got to get the oil off, which is, I know, the opposite of like what you think, because I've always said nail oil, but like get the nail oil off before you paint your nails if you want it to last. Are we following? I hope I am making sense. No, you're not getting the nail oil pen. I know, not right now. We're still working on it. Sorry, I just had to demo. Okay, so we were still talking about how to make your manicure last longer, and it begins with nail prep. So do everything I just said in the last 20 minutes first. And if you're still having problems and it's not anchoring onto your nail and it's like peeling off in one sheet, it could be possible that your nails are too fresh, they are too new, they are too virgin to nail painting. And I know that sounds kind of stupid, but fresh new nails are the worst at keeping nail polish on. And I've seen this with Ben when we first started painting his nails as well. When the nail is so new, it's like really shiny, it's not porous at all, and nail polish doesn't want to anchor to it as well. So funny enough, the longer you keep painting your nails and the more you paint your nails and remove nail polish and keep painting them, the more likely your nail polish is going to stay on longer. I know that sounds like I'm just making that up, but it's totally true. Because mine used to kind of pop off easier, but then I became obsessed with nail polish and I never had that problem again. So when people ask me, hey, how come you can wear nail polish for so long and you can have it last a week when I can't have it last 2 days? One answer in there is that, well, my nails are just different from yours because they are very porous. They've been worn and torn for many years, and nail polish will stick better to nails that have more wear. Now, I generally don't like recommending buffing, but it is something that is a good point and people do bring up in order to extend the wear and kind of jump past that period of being a nail noob. So if your nails are like super virgin, they haven't really been painted ever, and they're like really shiny, you can tell just by like looking at the natural nail, you might need to wear down just like this much. And I say this carefully because I also know that my best advice has always been to not buff the nail, because I have said that in response to people saying you should buff your nails to get rid of the yellow. Well, if you do that, you're literally just eating the layers of your nail because you don't like the stain. That's not really in the best interests of your nail thickness, your nail health. That's just for cosmetic reasons, which doesn't really make sense to me, and it's kind of counterproductive for the goal. Which, you know, if you want nice, long, sturdy nails that don't break, by continuously buffing them because you don't like the stain, isn't really the best thing, in my opinion. However, I can understand the legitimacy to buffing your nails, the nail plate, gently if you're a first-time nail painter. So a buffer... Hold on. This is not a good buffer, but I've seen ones like this from the drugstore. So there's things like this you can buy from the drugstore, and you would just take it and you would just very gently buff the surface of your nail, essentially to create a couple like it'll look more matte when you buff the nail. So my nails are already so shiny, or sorry, my nails are already too matte and too raw that I can't even demo this for you. But if you're a newbie and you gently buff the surface of your nail, you're gonna notice that it becomes more matte. And what you've done, if you've just like eliminated a little bit of the surface layer, please don't do it too much, just a little bit, just kind of like eats into the nail a little bit. And when you do that, it's more likely that the base coat is gonna anchor onto the nail plate. Yeah, it's just like a gentle graze. I just graze my nails sometimes. With the glass file, really? I would actually recommend making sure that people are using a buffer, because I do think a glass file can be a little dangerous because it's like really good at shaving down. I used to buff my nails because of ridges. I don't do it anymore that I have smoothing base. Yeah, so I don't recommend buffing your nails if you have ridges or just because you don't like the color yellow. I recommend buffing it just once or twice if you are new to painting your nails and your nails are so virgin that nail polish doesn't want to stick on. So the occasional buff just to kind of like make that surface a little bit raw can be helpful for making nail polish last longer. And that's the only context under which I would say try it. See if it extends the nail polish wear, because I do think that will help. All right. And other things that can relate to why nail polish lasts long or doesn't last long includes like exposure to water. So if you're a swimmer, I'm sorry, but nail polish is not gonna last as long on you. That's just the fact. Water will penetrate in between the layers of the polish, and it will kind of push them apart. And it will also do that in your natural nail. So water will absorb into your natural nail. You know duck nails, right? Every time we shower, we get duck nails. Woo! Nails are soft and bendy. We've got duck nails. Woo! Danger! How to find me? Yeah, okay. We all remember that song. But water doesn't help your nails. It hurts them in many ways. I'm gonna save that for a nail care stream. But in terms of your polish lasting longer, water hurts this in many ways. In one way, because water will absorb into your natural nail, expand the nail, and then when your nail's like trying to explode, the polish will start to pop and be like, get me out of here. So it doesn't help for that. But then polish will also kind of go in between the layer between your nail and the base coat and kind of push them apart. So if you're a swimmer or you're washing the dishes all the time without gloves, water is going to do that to your nail polish. So one tip is to, not be a swimmer. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to change your lifestyle, but I just think you need to. It is important context to just understand that sometimes, the way you live your life can contribute to your nail polish not lasting as long. It's just how it is. But if there is something you can change, like wearing gloves doing dishes, then that can definitely help prolong. Please, everyone, use gloves. Yes. Yes, Deb. Or just don't do dishes. That's me. That's my strategy. I don't do any of the dishes. Right, Ben? Yeah. Went on a cruise and all my nails literally popped off from water activities. I was devastated. Yeah. This is just science. This is actually science. That's what happens. But some things you can do to try and prevent from water stripping off your nail polish completely is that buffing your nails gently if you need to. It's also wrapping the tip of the base coat in all the colors and the top coat. We're gonna get to that next when I actually paint my nails. I'm probably missing a few tips that I even gave in my other videos, but I feel like those are the most common ones that I think are the most important. But if you want like a more succinct explanation, there is that video on the HOLO THERE channel and my old SimplyNailClass channel. I didn't mean my old channel. I meant like an old video on my channel. Christine knows how to turn on the dishwasher. Thanks, Ben. I do. Okay. All right, let's move on. What was the next question? From Meeples. Any tips for getting to that perfect spot in the nail bed without flooding the cuticle? And then how to use a cleanup brush delicately enough to avoid hitting parts you want to keep, especially with your non-dominant hand. And also how to choose a nail shape. I have odd C curves going on. So I'm gonna save like nail shape, nail care stuff for another stream. But let's talk about actual painting and flooding, the dreaded flooding, and then cleanup. I'm not going to paint my non-dominant hand on here. I also feel like that's a whole other stream, like painting my non-dominant hand tips. So I won't be able to demo that. I honestly think part of that is just practice, learning how to be ambidextrous. I don't have that expectation of everyone, but you do get better at everything with practice, just like painting your dominant or non-dominant hand. But let's go over painting technique. And there was a second question that was kind of along those lines that I'll just read now from Karen. Can you narrate your brush stroke logic technique for first and second coat? When I see you and other nail people on Insta doing demos, the first coat looks really thick. And there are a lot of brush strokes / reworking the polish of the first coat. I would love to hear exactly what you're thinking in your method and also how long to wait between coats and what you think is absolutely essential for good results every time. Great question. So these two questions I'm going to answer together, how not to flood and how exactly I paint, and I'm going to narrate you through. This is doing my nails with a voiceover, but live. First, I'm going to use Scientific Creme just because it's going to really show up on stream, but you can use whatever. I like to gently roll, warm, or just a tiny bit of shake the polish. You shouldn't overshake your polish or else you can get bubbles. So try not to do that, but anyways, I'm just using Scientific. So I've got my base coats on. Thank you, Dominique. Hi, Christine. I used to bite my nails terribly, and you taught me everything I didn't know about polish and nail care. Thank you for teaching us. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. I'm trying to... I hope that all these years people have learned something. Okay, before we paint, you want to prepare for cleanup. You want to be prepared. You want to hope that you don't need to clean up, but if you do need to clean up, you just want to be prepared. So how I do that is I have my acetone, and I have my cleanup brush. A cleanup brush is a nail speak for a small little brush. Come on and focus. There you go. Right? So a small little brush that allows you to gently trace around the cuticle. I start painting with my non-dominant hand, which makes it easier to deal with mistakes if I have an unpainted hand. That's a great tip, Finley. Exactly. Okay, so what I will do is I'm gonna take my acetone and carefully pour it into the cap. To be honest, I don't do this regularly. I kind of just go like this. I just dip it right in, and just be careful not to drop your cleanup brush in your acetone bottle. That has happened to me before. Not recently with HOLO Taco, but like in the past years, I've definitely just like full on dropped this in a bottle. Don't do that. So if you want to avoid doing that, you could just like pour it in a little cap or a cup that you don't care about. And you shouldn't leave acetone uncapped because it's dangerous if you spill it. But you know, I'm living on the edge here for this demo. I'm just doing it for the purposes of demo so I can show you me dipping it in. And other preparations include having a paper towel nearby. I like to use the paper towel to absorb a little bit of the acetone on my brush and then wipe it off. And also make sure you're painting on a surface that you don't care to get nail polish on. Don't leave your children unattended, don't eat the nail polish, etc., etc. Disclaimers. Yeah, the acetone also evaporates, so that's another good reason to not waste product and not have acetone in the air. But I was just saying, you don't want to spill it either all over your computer equipment as I sit here. Don't leave Menchie unattended either, yeah. Okay, so let me narrate exactly what's going on here. So I'm gonna show you. You uncap a bottle, pop a bottle. So the amount of polish on your brush shouldn't be too much. Like if I just went like this, that's way too much. It should not drip off like that. That's just way too much. That's how you flood cuticles. So I like to come out and then swipe one side off, kind of wiggle it off. And personally, I like there to be a little bulb on one side and then the other side is like empty, right? And then I would flip back and start painting with the bulb side. Now, everyone kind of does this a little bit differently. There are some nail artists or nail swatchers who prefer less on their brush, and then there are some who like want it fully loaded. So I think that's what one of the comments was referring to, noticing how fully loaded the brush was. But that swatcher is probably just like really quick and talented at like, yeah, I'm gonna collect all the paint and swipe it. I know exactly how to manage this brush. I know how to, you know, ride this brush. But I would recommend for beginners, you want to be careful not to overload the brush. You'd rather underload it and then go back for a second dip. So let's do some pinky painting. So I've got my thicker side, I'm gonna twist it. I'm gonna start towards the cuticle, like pause a little bit, and then swipe down. Now I kind of start at the cuticle and swipe back just slightly. And I'm continuing, and I know that I'm swiping over the same location. Like obviously I'm gonna need to do, and I need to work quickly though, so I can't really. I'm swiping over the same location a couple times, which is okay. Ooh, I can't see that side. Okay, but good. We're gonna need to clean up something there. That's good. And then I am wrapping the tip. But you see how even though I swiped like 4 times total, some of those swipes overlap because my nail is much skinnier than this particular water creme brush. And that's okay, as long as the polish... Ben, what was that? Just heard like, is everything okay downstairs? It's okay to swipe over an existing swipe as long as the polish is still wet. If I tried to do that right now and it's been like 30 seconds, no, I'm gonna ruin it. So you gotta work quickly when you're painting that first coat. And this is a highly pigmented creme. This is unusual in the sense that like it looks like all you need is one coat. I guess I applied it slightly thicker like some of the people you've seen, but generally speaking, you're gonna apply 2 to 3 thin coats of a polish. And I am gonna apply a second coat just, you know, because that's best practice. I always say you want to sneak up on your cuticle. That is a perfect tip, Nails by Angelica. So when you're going here, I'll demonstrate with this one. I run the brush, like I kind of drop the brush here and then I go, oop, just a little bit of sneak towards the cuticle and then I come back down with a smooth motion. But if you start right at the cuticle, you risk actually kind of stabbing or jamming the polish into your cuticle too early. So it's better to start a little bit down, back away from the cuticle, and then approach a little bit, and then come back down. So I'll demo that again on the next nail. And wrap the tip with all layers. Yes, Gabby. Yes, that's what I'm doing. That's what I recommend. And one of those reasons is so it lasts longer. You can see on my other hand. You can see how underneath the nail I still have polish there. That's because I wrapped the tip. It has been well over a week, so it's definitely chipping at the tip, but wrapping the tip definitely helps extend the wear of your polish. So that's why you see a little bit of polish underneath. This is scientific. Yes, this is scientific. All right, let's do it again so you'll see it on a little bit bigger nail. And yes, different polishes will apply differently. Maybe I should apply a different polish so you can see. All right, let's do I'm Over Brew. Just for fun. I'm gonna do mostly cremes just because that's the most beginner level and it's easiest to explain here. So again, just a moderate amount on the brush. One side has the polish on it, like the bulb of polish. One side has the bulb of polish and the other side is kind of flattened. That's how I generally do it. And then I'm gonna take the bulb of polish and flip it onto my nail. Not too thick, not too thin, but if you're worried about it, aim thinner. So putting it down, recule, I'm speaking French, back to the cuticle just a little bit and then pull down. Now, depending on the shape of your nail, it can be a little bit of a different experience. My nails are very curved. Oh, good. We're going to get to do some cleanup. My nails are very curved, which leads to more bleeding and flooding at the sides because it kind of like, you know, gravity. And also it's hard to wrap the side when I have to like move my hand like this. People with flatter nails won't have this same kind of challenge. And then one thing about creme polishes is not all cremes are the same, right? Oh my God, I got a menchie here. Wait, surgery. There we go. Menchie. Some creme polishes are better than others in terms of self-leveling. So self-leveling is something where like you paint on the first coat, and even if it's not fully opaque yet on the first coat, which is normal for any lighter colors, you still want it to settle and self-level nicely. So not all cremes are created equally, and I'm just gonna demonstrate cleanup, which you should be doing as you paint. You shouldn't be waiting until you're done all the nails. You should do this with every nail. So I'm dipping my cleanup brush into the acetone. Personally, I like to just gently remove a little bit of the acetone so it's not overloaded, because I don't want to, you know, shoot a giant amount of acetone on my nail. And then I'm just going to take that and trace it. And in between all the swipes, you should be wiping it off so that you don't put the polish back on your nail. Then I can dip back into my acetone, clean it off. I can take a little bit more acetone, wipe it on my paper towel, and you can go back in and round the cuticle if you didn't have, you know, the most perfect application. And one question I see a lot is like, how come nail artists or swatchers don't go all the way to the cuticle, right? So if you notice, there's a tiny gap here that I left. And the reason for that is that so that it's not messy, right? So there's a tiny bit left there and it kind of looks like it's grown out, but it's the best way to get the cleanest look without it flooding into your skin. You really don't want it to flood into your skin, or else it's gonna start to look, I don't know, like it could stain your skin. It can start to bleed underneath the skin. I say bleed, like I don't mean actual blood, but the polish can flood. So people deliberately leave a little bit of a gap. And then the more practical reason that people don't really think about is leaving that gap allows you to take your top coat, the glossy top coat, and you can put that just past the color a little bit further so that it anchors onto the bare nail just like this much, like a millimeter. And that may help extend the wear of your manicure. So you're taking the glossy top coat and making it layer over everything and attaching it to the natural nail, if that makes sense. So it's like a shield almost, all encompassing. So I still have a little bit of polish flooding on the side. Sometimes it's just impossible to prevent a little bit of flooding. It's gonna happen depending on how you stroke the polish. Doesn't matter how self-leveling a polish is, sometimes flooding happens, sometimes you weren't paying attention. What other colors? I want to use like a thinner color. Let's use Royalty Blue. Just so I can show you like what one coat looks like. And this is not a these cremes have looked too good for one coat. How are you guys doing? Is this helpful? Is this information, okay, it's time to evaluate me. Is this information helpful, or is it like, you know, all this? Are you learning something? Or is this like, yeah, I already knew this. This is too easy. This is helpful and soothing to listen to. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys. Okay, awesome. I just want to make sure that this is helpful in some way. This is life-changing. Well, damn, Lindsay. We are changing lives here. Okay, I'm gonna do my next nail with Royalty Blue just because it's a bit sheerer of a polish, because it's more like a jelly. Well, it's not a jelly, but if I had to compare it to the consistency of Scientific, it's a little bit thinner. And much of that is just based on the pigment. All right, so here. So we're gonna watch me go again. Come down towards the cuticle, a little bit of a back up, and then pull down. Okay, so this is a better one to demo what I mean with. A little bit sheer on the first coat, but watch as I do a second and third stroke. Still a first coat, but I can repeat stroke it just a little bit. You see what I just did there? I just stroked a second time over it, and it made it a little bit thicker. Let me just get the sides here. And there. That's what I would call a decent first coat. Not too thick, like it's not flooding. I don't have one side that's like thicker or weighing down or is gloopier than the other. But it was also not too thin. So I think this is what one of the comments was referring to. How they see swatchers or nail artists go in with like what they think is a thick coat, and then they keep stroking it and it becomes like more opaque, and they're like, that's not a 1-coat nail polish. I need to do 2 or 3 coats. And you're right. There is a way to, I could have just stopped at the first coat or the first stroke and then only like stroked on the left and right rather than repeating it. But while you have that opportunity and it's still wet, you can actually kind of work with it and build it up just a little bit. I still recommend like not laying it on too thick, or else you're going to run the risk of it being too gloopy, uneven, and not drying as quickly. But in this case, you can kind of finesse it a little bit to get that coverage that you want. Did I miss a super chat? Thank you, Regine. ICU nurse here, and I just wanted to say whenever I'm able to take a break, I watch your streams to relax. Polish mountain squat. Thank you. Shout out to you and all the other nurses doing the hard work you do. We thank you. All right, I just have a little bit of cleanup just to round it. I don't really need to like clean here. This house is not messy. But it is, you know, as a perfectionist, I like to round the edges, and I use my cleanup brush to help me do that. We are going to do a second coat on all of them. What is this color scheme? I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. What's the last color I should do? What should I do here? You guys, name a color. Name a creme. We're doing cremes only. I know, shocking. Name a creme and I'll put it on here. Do you wrap the sides? You can't wrap the side that is attached to your skin. You can wrap this side if you have long nails. And I guess I kind of do that, but like not deliberately. You see how the blue kind of, yeah, I guess I do that. I do that, but I don't like fully turn my hand around and paint the sides. Seafoam, teal, lavender, the floor is guava, green. What are the suggestions? Butterscotch, high tea hibiscus. Black? Could do black. Duct tape gray? Actually, that might be nice. Let's do duct tape gray. I was not trying to make like a color scheme. There's no logic that went into this. I was just trying to think of like how different colors would show up and different formulas would show up on stream. Left on red. Mrs. Pokit's the riot. It's not ready yet. It's not ready. Okay, we're gonna go in with the last, well, not the last nail, the fourth nail. Same technique, let's go. Whoop. Control the cuticle. That's what you want. When you're near the danger zone, you wanna control it. Ah, I picked up a fluff. Fuck. Okay, we're troubleshooting. I'm trying to paint my fluff out, but I'm inadvertently gonna show you why it's bad to keep stroking. Okay, we're gonna save that on the second coat, but let me show you what happens. I was trying to paint out a fluff. It was Menchie's fault. You can kind of see the fluff. See how it's like raised? There's like little dots. Okay, anyways. I'm showing you this now because I repeatedly stroked that same area over and over. And what happened? I got a bald patch. So if you keep doing it, if you overdo stroking the same section, you're gonna like start removing the polish as it's wet. So there's a careful balance, right? Between doing strokes and then layering over those strokes to get the good coverage and then have everything self-level. But if you keep going on the same area, you're gonna pull it up. What is a fluff? Like a menchie fluff. There's little fluffs. A menchie hair, a cat hair, or a hair from your clothes. It happens. And usually I just try and, if I see one, I just like paint it off. But I think I kind of trapped it in there. You can kind of see the dots of the fluff. Whatever. It happens. I'm just gonna paint over it. I am so glad it happened. It's helpful to see the troubleshooting problems. Yeah. It's normal. Not every single nail I paint happens perfectly. Out of 4, 1 of them I got a fluff, and we had to troubleshoot. And I deliberately overstroked. But you're going to see me take care of that in the second coat. Is it like lint? Yes, lint. Am I just using like the wrong words? Lint, fluff, cat hair, something from your clothes, a thread of fabric. What, the fluff? Yes. So the fix for this is to paint a second coat. Yeah, you could literally just trap the fluff in. I mean, you could redo your nail, but I try not to do that. I'm too lazy. Thank you, Maisie. Do you think glitter/metallic foil polishes are easier to paint for beginners? I find it harder to create the perfect line around the cuticle with crumbs, and glitterly purple has lasted 2 weeks. That's a great point. I do think that a lot of special effects formulas that have like glitter and bling in them are very forgiving. So even the linear hollow formula is forgiving. Frosted metals, I would agree, very forgiving, because if you get a dent or you put on a coat uneven, no one will notice because it's so blingy. And hollow glitters, same idea. They might be different and a little trickier to work with for a beginner who's never like applied glitter, because glitter needs like a little bit of finessing to get the glitter spread evenly. But I do think the end result is a lot more forgiving. So absolutely, you're right. If you're struggling with getting that clean line around the cuticle, then try using a polish that is more sparkly, I guess is the answer, right? To use something like this or this. If I just like show you the sides, it's gonna be more forgiving because the surface area has so many different like special effects in it. So you're not gonna notice that it's not as even around the cuticle line. So yes, I hear you, that like crumbs can show that a little bit more. Multichromes are definitely the hardest to use. Yeah, I agree that they need more practice and finesse. Multichromes really depend on your ability to do a nice straight brush stroke, which is something you're learning in this class. So you should all be experts. But even I have some strategy that's a little bit different for a multichrome. So like I'll paint how I normally paint, and then my last coat of multichrome, I won't do this little like pushback thing. I will start right at the bottom and do one single swipe up, and I will finish with a swipe in the middle, because multichromes just show the brush strokes more. It's just a chrome formula. That's just kind of the nature of the formula. You just kind of gotta finesse it, work with it. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and I'll do the second coat next. We're not going to multichrome mode because that's like, that's at least not expert, but maybe like intermediate level. Let's do See Y'all Later Chai. A beige. Who is she? Not me wearing beige. This was gonna be like the weirdest manicure. But I'm hopeful that this one will kind of showcase you. So here, not gonna narrate again. I'll just paint. Bloop. Oh, that was blurry. I'm gonna go back in and dip. My thumbnail is very large, so I've used a lot of paint. Fuck, it keeps moving on me. So that's one coat, and obviously I know that I have steady hands and not everyone has as steady hands. I do not recommend painting in the air in this position like I'm doing. When I normally paint my thumbs, I would take my finger and I would put it like on the edge of my desk like this and then paint it so I'm stable. But I gotta stay under the camera for you guys. But yes, you always want to make sure your hand, your elbow, my elbow is resting on my desk here. Make sure that you're comfortable, you have the good angle, because no one's watching you except you. I, however, have this camera watching me, so I have to put it under the camera. But yeah, you want to make sure that you're down, you're stable, and you can stabilize your other hand that's painting by also kind of putting it on the table beside you, right? So have both hands firmly down, have both elbows up against something if you need it. Maybe you don't need something on both elbows, but at least one. I always find that stabilizing your situation can help. All right, so we're gonna go back in with Scientific for a second coat. Actually, I'm gonna show you up close like why we need a second coat. Is that another Menchie hair? Oh my god. Guys, Menchie is not letting up today. Menchie, I brought my cat to class. So even though there are some cremes that have amazing coverage, you still want a second coat because see at an angle, like, you know, you want it to be completely opaque. And it's normal for most cremes to not be opaque in one coat, except unless it's one coat black. But yeah, I am gonna go ahead with a second coat on all my nails. Hey Christine, I'm new to nails as I have to stay closeted, MTF, but I experiment at home since I'm alone. My nails are super damaged from army service and I have male nails. Any advice? Advice for what? Nail care? Or advice for like just to paint your nails? Because I think if it's about painting your nails, you know, I hope that you can feel empowered to paint your nails no matter who you are. Do you have nails? Okay. Do you know how to paint? Okay, then you can paint them. But if you're talking specifically about feeling like your nails are rugged maybe, then I would recommend nail oil. Nail oil is specifically designed to help the health of the nail and cuticle. It's not the same as like vegetable oil or other kinds of oils. And to look for the ingredient jojoba or jojoba as I pronounce it. It starts with a J. Jojoba is how to write it. And that does wonders for cuticles or nails. Yes, and male nails are generally shorter. Most men usually, not always, prefer to keep them shorter. Like Ben has shorter nails. But yeah, you can have short nails and great nails. Jojo Mart oil. Yeah. Okay. That one time I played Stardew Valley. Alright, I'm going back in with the second coat of Scientific. Now, in terms of how long I should have waited, I've definitely waited like way too long. Well, I guess there's no such thing as too long, but I did not need to wait this long in between coats. And focus. And I'm wrapping the tip on the second coat. If you forget to wrap the tip on the first coat, certainly do it on the second. And I got a little bit of it on my pinky, so I'm just gonna go in with my cleanup brush, trace the side. So as I said earlier for base coat, in terms of waiting for each coat to dry, the same logic applies. If you're painting all 10 nails, by the time you get to the 10th nail, you're probably safe to come back to the beginning and do the second coat. It was just impossible for me to demonstrate that and talk at the same time. What the Fluff? That's an excellent name. Oh my god. I'm just gonna call a polish Menchie here. Also on the second round, the second coat, you can try and narrow that gap a little bit if you want, if you think you gave too much of a gap in between your cuticle. And I always suggest doing the cleanup right as you go. It's most efficient to clean up while the polish is still wet. If you do it while it's dry, it's gonna kind of crust over, and it's not gonna be as easy to swipe it off with that cleanup brush. So do one nail at a time, and that will also inadvertently help you with drying time, because you're just spending more time on each nail if you're doing cleanup. But then like all your nails are drying longer, so it kind of has two purposes. Notice how I'm turning my finger too. That's another technique you can use. So it's like bringing my left hand, my nails, to the brush in a way, making it easier for my brush control by controlling my finger. So my brush isn't the one that's like trying to go down that, you know, in another direction. This is so aesthetic. Thank you, La Petite Pois. What's aesthetic? This color scheme? This is the most random color scheme. Okay, now we're gonna rescue the duct tape nail. Don't worry. You can mess up the first coat, you got a second shot. It's gonna be okay. We loading it up. Nothing happened here. Fluff? I don't know where she went. Oh, maybe she's kind of sticking out here, but we're just gonna paint her right in. Trapped. I flooded a tiny bit, so I'm just gonna go in. But there, looking pretty good. Looking good. Did you know that there's a fluff trapped in my nail? You will never know. Oh, kind of. You can kind of see like it's sticking up with a dot. But we're gonna add a glossy taco next, so that'll be another layer of protection to noticing that there's a fluff trapped in the nail. Bruh, I need a cleanup brush. Yes, everyone needs a cleanup brush. Just like everyone should clean their house. I know I should clean my house, but we did restock the cleanup brush. By the way, it was out of stock for some time, but it is restocked now. doing our second coat of See Y'all Later Chai. See how I'm doing it slowly and deliberately? It's kind of what I recommend. Oh, also one thing to note is that some of the Instagram videos you see, people might be speeding up the footage. Not always, but it is something to consider. There, see? Got underneath. Careful. Take a moment for yourself and your nails, you know? Part of painting nails isn't just to get color on your nail, right? It's also to paint and enjoy the experience. Nail painting is the new meditation. How do you wrap the tip so good? Just like how I did. Like I kind of like do a little lift up, and then I paint the tip. All right, so that's 2 coats of each creme, and I don't think we need a third. If I was so inclined, I might paint a third on the duct tape gray, literally just to hide some of the hairs that we've trapped in, but whatever. Now, dry time before Glossy Taco. Let's talk. Generally speaking, you can kind of tell when a polish, like the color polish, is drying. See how Scientific is getting like less glossy? It looks less wet. It's starting to dry. Now, this varies depending on the pigment. Pigments that are more neon, like this guy, will dry down a little bit madder just because it's literally like the nature of the pigment. So it is kind of biased towards, it depends which creme you're using or which polish. Christine, you're the reason I started painting my nails. Thanks for all the tips. I'm enjoying this live so much. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you, Anita. I am having a great day. Thank you. Thank you, Allie. Nothing better than spending my Saturday drinking tea, snuggled with my kitties and watching Simply. Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being in the Menchie gang. It's so cool to see like the member chats. I'm glad that YouTube does this. Like they give you like a free highlighted chat every month. Is that what it is? It's kind of new. But I really like that, so that you don't have to buy super chats. You can use up your member chat. Awesome. Where was I? Where were we, class? Menchie. I do think I have a fluff in my burgundy now. Yeah, I definitely do. Good job. No, I've painted it in. She's in there. She's not coming out. Any tips for preventing or removing bubbles? So bubbles can happen for a few reasons. One is not giving enough time to dry in between coats. So it's really hard for me to give you like a number of how long or the length of time you need to wait, because some of it is, it's going to depend on your environment. It's going to depend on how thick you applied the polish. It's going to depend on how quickly that polish dries just on its own. Different formulas dry quicker than others. But generally speaking, I think you want to give a good 10 to 20 minutes in between each coat. That's on average. And including before you apply a Glossy Taco. If you apply Glossy Taco too quickly after you've painted the color polish, it can result in bubbles happening. If you apply a Glossy Taco too thickly, like if I were just to take this guy and like load it on, like way too much and keep stabbing at it, like jabbing at the bubble, you can create more bubbles by pushing more air into the top coat that you're trying to apply. Glossy Taco or any top coat, I keep saying Glossy Taco, but I'm really trying to speak generally here. Any top coat can develop bubbles for a few reasons. If you shake it too much, you'll literally see bubbles happen. if you leave the cap off for too long, or as you continue to use it and the polish or the top coat naturally goes down, air exposure to the product will increase because more air is physically in the bottle, and the more air that's in the bottle can contribute to more bubbles developing. Sometimes also depends on like if it got exposed to heat, if it was exposed to sunlight at any time, if you left it by your computer that heats up a lot. There's things that I think we don't really think about that can contribute to top coat thickening over time. And sometimes thickening is correlated to more bubbles just because there's like more air trying to escape. But it's hard for me to give one answer because there just are so many. Oh, now people are asking when Glossy Taco will be restocked. It will be restocked soon. I believe we have it. We're just like quality controlling it. But yeah, it's coming back soon. Another good tip for making sure to avoid bubbles in your top coat is to thin coats. Apply thin coats. Don't lay it on too thick. And that is kind of a skill that you develop over time. I think I made a mistake in encouraging the language. Just add a nice thick coat of Glossy Taco. And I really said thick because the quality of the top coat itself is what's thick in a good way. Like it's like a nice thick glass seal. But I didn't mean to suggest you should over apply like too much top coat. So I think maybe I was misinterpreted. But the true advice for like a nail newbie is to not load the top coat on too thick, because if you do it too thick, you will risk getting more bubbles. Can top coat cover the streaks? How about matte top coat? Streaks of what? Like the polish? Yes, a glossy top coat, a shiny one, can absolutely nullify streaks and imperfections and bumps. Matte top coat, naturally you'll see more, like, I don't want to say streaks, but the glossy something is, the less you're going to notice a streak, if that makes sense. When my nails are painted a light color, the tips will begin to darken like they are dirty and spread throughout the week. What causes this? I don't know. The tips begin to darken like they are dirty? It could be your shampoo or a cleaning product. It's possible, like, I don't know. But I have heard of cases where that a discoloration has happened, and it could potentially be like a chemical reaction with some other product that you don't suspect. Especially if it's happening just at one part of your nail polish, not other. It might mean that like that part of your nail is touching a different product. But that is definitely unusual. Yeah, like it can, in rare cases, nail polish can react to things like sunscreen, cooking products. I've seen shampoo, like those purple shampoos. Any tips for if after the second coat you bump your nail on the table and dent the polish? Should I do that on purpose? Should we dent our nails? Okay, I'll do that after I paint the Glossy Taco on. I want to see if I had... These are just the other questions I curated. How long should you actually wait between coats? So 10 to 20 minutes to be safe between coats, but it varies depending on heat, how thick you apply the polish, humidity, environment, and those kinds of factors. So it's hard to give an exact one, but you can kind of observe the polish and look at it and be like, oh, it's mostly dry. It's very, very tap dry, but I also don't recommend like intentionally smushing into your nail either. And then we'll get to this question after I do the taco. If your top coat is getting stringy and gloopy, that can be in part because it's just getting old. This is like this is like nail expert level, guys, and more like a chemistry explanation. But a good quick dry top coat dries quicker when it's exposed to air, because that's literally the point of it, right? You want to be able to paint this on and you want it to dry and almost like cure the nail like glass really quickly. But the better a quick dry top coat is, the more likely that it's going to start drying as it's exposed to air. So as you continue to use product, there can be more air left in the bottle, but air plus quick dry top coat can equal competing things because the top coat is trying to dry. So one thing you can do to prevent that, first of all, is like also making sure the bottle is sealed at all times when it's not in use. But you can also use something called nail thinner. We do not sell it at this time, but it is available at your local beauty supply store. It's basically like a solvent that will restore the liquidity of a top coat that has gotten a little bit thick over time. Would nail polish thinner help? Yeah. I use nail thinner. Will nail polish thinner stop it from drying fast? Generally, no, it shouldn't. It just helps to smooth out the product. So that's why, like, there's some top coats that don't do this over time, but they're also just like not as good at quick drying. They take like too long to dry. You know what I mean? And yeah, you just want to make sure not to overuse thinner. So you can use a couple drops, like 3 to 5 drops of thinner at a time, roll it around in the top coat, see how that changes the consistency, and then kind of add more as needed. Highlight this question. We'll definitely have all these questions and the high level topics that I covered in the description box after the stream is over. The mods help me with timestamps. So yes, for sure, this will be something that we'll highlight in the timestamps. Oh yes, and don't use remover. Good point, Finley. So when I say nail polish thinner, I don't mean acetone or nail polish remover. Don't add that to your nail polish to thin it. You must only add nail polish thinner that is designed to thin nail polish, because they're not the same. Thank you, Claudia. Oh, it's the UK, it's the Queen. Okay, now we're gonna paint Glossy Taco, and I will show you my technique for that. So you, not too thick, but even coats. Focus on me. There we go. Fuck, it focused away. There you go. Okay, so I like to take one and then I kind of wipe off the big first gloop, and then I'll proceed with the next one. Like a little bulb. I'm gonna take the bulb and I'll put him there. Same technique as painting the nails. But this time I want to just extend, if I can, slightly past the blue, slightly past the color. And that way I'm kind of sealing it all in. And one other thing I want to point out, oh, and I'm wrapping the tip. There's too many things to say in all the same sentence. Is that I'm floating it over the nail. I think one mistake that people make, and that they kind of ruin the nail polish underneath, is that they kind of stab too hard with the Glossy Taco. Also, this is optional. I do this even though I like don't need to. Like, I have a problem. Like, it looks fine. You want to make sure you're floating the top coat over. And this can help for a few reasons. Obviously, like, it helps for nail art so you don't drag and ruin your nail art. But that's not the level of class we're talking about here. It can also serve a similar piece of advice, though, because you don't want to push too hard into the polish and then drag it with your top coat. That's going to result in more nail polish color being picked up on the top coat brush, which isn't the worst thing in the world. You can wipe it off. But I think the more serious negative impact is if I go too hard with my Glossy Taco on the brew, I'm over brew right here, I'm gonna drag the color along with it, and then I'm not gonna have like the nicest coat of burgundy anymore. It's like not applying too much pressure on the nail. You want to float the top coat over. How can you brush it on without brushing it on? Well, I am brushing it on, but I'm not heavily weighting it. You want to like, if I'm like supposed to be pressing down on my nail, I want to take that weight off just a little bit. So I'm just floating it across. This is all a technique thing. This is definitely a practice thing. I get that. It's very hard to describe and also show because you can't tell how much weight I'm putting on my nail, right? Floating is never contacting? Oh yeah, we're not making contact with the color under. You're floating the clear coat dot you are applying. Maybe there was a typo there. But yeah, I'm not trying to dig my top coat brush into the color. I'm really just trying to float it over top. Be gentle, practice makes perfect. Makes perfect progress. I can't read. I'm like reading two things at once. Is that more tea?
Need more tea.
You want to glide it over.
Your TA?
Okay, I need my space though. Can you not put it here?
People want to see the tea.
Yeah, but I have to paint. I was literally about to paint. It does take practice. Sometimes I don't float and I pull up the color. Yes. Okay, so that's one thing. If you've pulled up the color, then you gotta go a little more gentle. We all float down here. And we'll all float on. What? Oh, I don't know that reference. I was thinking of a song by Modest Mouse. It's like the icing on the cake. You don't want to scratch the cake. Yes, for all the bakers in the chat, I know that we have some resident expert bakers. It's exactly like that. Okay, I will demo it again. I'm not sure if you'll be able to discern my level of floating. I have that little stupid thing at the end. I was trying to add a lot to it to cover it, but it's still there. Whatever. Little fluff McGuff. Wrapping the tip with short nails, fingers in the way. Yes, Heather, I hear you. I won't be able to demo that on my nails. You can use like a liquid latex around your fingertip to help protect your skin as you cover the tip, and then you can take off the liquid latex, or you can go in with a cleanup brush every time. I will do this on another stream with Ben. We will do a dedicated short nail stream in the future, but I think it's just more helpful to everyone and for demonstration purposes for me to wait until I have Ben's hand here the whole time. I love Overbrew. It's such a beautiful burgundy color. Thank you. I know, it is so pretty for like Valentine's Day too. All right, let's go. Let's all float on. All right, already we're all. If you do get the odd bubble every now and then, you can kind of paint it out. Does that make sense? Like you can paint away the bubble if you just see like one or two as you go. You could be like, oop, I see you, I'm painting you out. And that happens. Also, bubbles can happen if you keep going like this, like too much, too rigorously. You can literally create them just by plunging the air into a top coat. So avoid doing that unnecessarily and plunge this gently, you know? Are Jen's nails short? You could have a pajama party and paint nails. Ben can be included. Yes, all three of us. Her nails are short, but sometimes they're long. And sometimes she has some short nails and then other long nails. Oh, Ben pinned our Love at First Swipe creme bundle. We put together 2 different bundles for Valentine's Day at HOLO Taco. Yeah, now we have so many cremes that you can like do a cool combo. Oh, and also the red nail file, which was a holiday special edition file. We've extended it for Valentine's Day, but then after that, she's probably gonna be gone. The red nail file, I mean. This one. The red glassy nail file. Normally, I'm too impatient to wait for it to dry. I know, that's the comment. I hear you. But part of painting your nails should be the process. So I encourage you to find some enjoyment in the calm and serenity of the painting process. I also get it if it's, you know, you're just not having fun, but maybe you paint your nails while you put on a podcast, while you watch a stream, while you're listening to a lecture, while you're listening to a meeting that you don't have to participate in. You just need to hear. It's like the all-staff meeting, you know? I think there's a lot of life circumstances where it is possible to do 2 things at once. I mean, that's my motto, do like 7 things at once. But yeah, if you don't really enjoy just getting in the zone and painting your nails, you know, I'm not going to force you to. But if you want painted nails, maybe try listening or watching something while you're painting your nails, so you're kind of doing a couple things at once and you don't feel bored if you're bored at just the painting. So that will give you the opportunity to have a bit more patience in between steps and just, you know, chill out. Chill out. Everybody chill. Well, I'm painting my nails right now. Who's painting their nails right now? Comment in the chat, but careful. Careful. Don't stab the keyboard or your phone wrong. There is a striping tape stuck to everything. How? What? Who, me? Or you? You have striping tape stuck to everything? Why? Well, stop that. So much of chat is painting. Me, 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 me. Trying out the winter shimmers. Woo! It's me time. Yes, yes. It's me time. It's us time. You guys better be careful. Be careful. Don't be stabbing your nails on the keyboard. Okay, I'm gonna paint my duct tape gray plus Menchie hair nail. With the Glossy taco. Floating on. Making sure everywhere is covered and wrapping the tip. Wrapping the tip is very important at all stages, but especially for the Glossy taco, because this will help prevent chipping at the tips if you wrap the last stage of the manicure over everything. It's like the final seal. And I didn't even do this. We are adding a Glossy taco. I have a little fluffy. Oh, he was moved. Oh, now he's gone. Oh my god, Menchie is everywhere. Jesus Christ. You may not have this problem unless you have pets and you don't clean your house. Then you have this problem. Along with painting your nails being relaxing, it's also a great way to stop biting them. I used to bite mine as an anxious habit, but now I paint them. Thank you, Sage. I have heard that comment and feedback from so many people. I cannot stress it enough that people have said that they feel like they've found a new love for their nails and nail painting ever since they started realizing that painting your nails, whether it's just one color or getting into nail art, is a deterrent for biting your nails. And is an encouraging factor to making you want to care about your nails, because like it's fun. It's fun to be able to put different colors on and feel good about your nails and then take care of them alongside that. So I do see how discovering this hobby and passion and seeing how fun it is can actually turn around your nail health. It makes you more dedicated, you're more committed to caring about your nails and making them look good. Thanks for helping me stop biting my nails. When the world locked down in 2020, I got my first HOLO THERE polish. My teeth haven't touched my nails since. Congratulations, Wimsella, and thank you so much. I'm just glad to have helped people. Guys, we are saving lives here. We are stopping people from biting their nails. Same here with the nail biting. Yeah, for sure. There's people who feel that way. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm proud of you. All pass. You all get an A. Okay, I'm gonna do my final glossy talk. Sometimes I have to do a quick second dip. I find I do that on my thumbnail because my thumbnail's giant. I probably should have done a third coat of See Y'all Later Chai. As you can see, there's a tiny bit of a streak there. I generally recommend 2 to 3 coats, and the third coat is more common in people with longer nails because there's just more product to put on your nail. But yeah, there's an example of what happens if, you know, you do 1 coat short. Okay, we're gonna intentionally damage a nail now, and then we're gonna try and fix it. Ready? Okay. What if I just painted my thumbnail, and now I'm gonna try and like this YouTube video. I'm gonna try and like this YouTube video, but I'm gonna hit the wrong key, and I'm gonna I'm trying to get enough damage. There. I did it. Okay, I have some damage. See, I got a smudge. Okay, what I'm gonna do while it's still wet, I'm gonna lick a clean finger. And I'm gonna push it back in place. And I know I just painted this taco on like literally 30 seconds ago. But it dries so quickly, this particular top coat, that you can do this. You can kind of manipulate it right after. And not have the rest of it be wet. So I kind of smushed it back into a straighter place. You're not going to be able to completely eliminate this, you know, the finger marks, obviously. But at least I pushed it back into place, so it's not as obvious. Maybe that wasn't the best example. I could probably like have ruined my nail a little bit more. But it is a good trick that does work if you, you know, scuff your nail and then the polish moves. You can quickly lick your finger and then push it back. There's no guarantees that it's gonna look 100% perfect, because you're gonna have a little bit of, you know, misformation of the taco. But at least you've put the color back where it belongs. It's a light pat. Exactly. The damage made me cringe. I know. I hated doing that. That was awful. Adding nail polish to my diet. Wait, what? No, do not eat. Do not eat. Don't lick the nail polish. Yeah. How many coats of top coat should I use? Just 1. You should only need 1 top coat. Sorry, let me rephrase. 1 quick dry top coat. If you want to wear a matte top coat, then I would recommend doing a quick dry top coat and then a matte top coat on top. if you want best results for long lasting. A matte top coat, generally speaking, doesn't contain the same ingredients as a quick dry top coat, so it's not going to be as quick drying, and it's not going to have the same like glass sealing properties as a good quick dry sealing top coat. So if you want both, then I recommend doing a quick dry top coat so you can seal your nails, make them dry, make them last longer, rock the tip, do all that, and then your final step would be a matte top coat if you're looking for that mattified look. By matte, I mean this. So all these nails are matte, and all these nails are glossy. Glossy top coat, matte top coat. Obviously, these are like special effects nails, so it doesn't really show you. Do I have a creme wheel? I do have a creme wheel. Let's do that, okay? Glossy top coat, matte taco. Now on the swatch wheel, I only put matte taco. I didn't put glossy and then matte, but the end result would look the same. They have fluffs on them. Yeah, if you want a matte nail, which is super like, sorry, I drank my tea too fast. If you want a matte nail, which is super posh and sophisticated, looks great over like black too, or any, that's over gold flake taco. So pretty. I would recommend glossy taco first, seal everything in, get it quick dry, and then do your matte taco. Do I use a topper on top of a top coat and then another top coat? Or do I put it on top of a top coat and call it good? Good question, Mango Lilac. That was the most confusing thing to read. Do I put a top coat on top of a top coat or a taco on top of a top coat? Talker. Say that 10 times fast. Okay. This is a question that is a little bit more specific to Holo Taco because of the language that we use. Because we say taco and top coat and topper, and then everyone's like, what? What are we having for dinner? What? So I will explain in the context of Holo Taco. We'll use these as an example. So all of these have one coat black as the base polish, right? Just like we just painted some cremes. Over top of one coat black, we added a different color of unicorn skin, which is a topper. This is a topper, not a top coat. In English, the difference is that a topper is nail polish. It's special effects nail polish. It's a pigment. It's going to give you some kind of color or effect. It is not a quick dry sealant. It's not a clear coat. It's like, have you ever painted a car? Like, no, like 2 people will say yes in here. But when you get your car painted or repaired at the auto body shop, they need to strip the paint, to clean it, just like you're gonna strip your nails, clean them properly. Add primer, base coat. They paint the special effects color. Maybe it's a metallic red or, a metallic charbon, a charcoal, a gray, a gunmetal, and it has special effects pigment. Maybe there's like a pearlescent in it, but they don't just run the car off the lot after they've painted those special effects. They need to seal it all in with a clear coat, and that's the exact same logic as you've done your special effects. Maybe you have a base color, and then you seal it all in with a clear coat, aka a glossy taco, aka quick dry top coat. Topper, top coat. Special effects, colors, pigments, fun. Sealing your manicure in, long-lasting, glossy, the final step. Are we following? Are we following, everybody? My boyfriend and I are painting our nails, watching the stream, and he accidentally clicked off the stream on the TV and panicked because his nails weren't dry. Be careful. Be very careful. Doesn't it make your nails super thick? It can if you are doing multiple layers. Like, there are some people. I see you, Holo Combo. There are people who like to play with several different layers of top coats. Like, you could be doing a linear hollow followed by a unicorn skin, followed by a linear hollow taco, followed by a glossy taco, followed by a matte taco. Actually, that would look weird and ugly. Don't do that, but if you make it, don't make hollow matte. But like you could do all these. And yes, it is thicker. So when you're doing special effects toppers like this, I really recommend doing a very thin coat because you're gonna have so many coats in total. But at the same time, like 7 coats of nail polish, including base coat, including top coat, isn't really that much. And I do that more often than you think, right? Like right now we have 1, 2, 3, we have 4 coats on. We have base coat, 2 coats of creme, and a top coat. And now normally people might add 3 coats of a creme polish, so they might normally have 5 coats on. So a 6th or a 7th coat isn't really that far off. And I personally tend to like my nails a little bit thicker. I find they feel more solid. They feel more like clack, clack, clack. I can, tap my keyboard and not think that my nails are gonna break, because the amount of nail polish on your nail ultimately acts as a splint. Keeping your nails polished like this, sometimes thicker is better, can actually prevent your nail from breaking, because it's like a splint. Like 100 layers of nail polish? Yes, exactly like that. But that's not for the everyday person. That's another tutorial, my friends. That's another class. That class you need to pay to get into. That disclaimer the super chatter mentioned is a California related legal disclaimer that is also used by many companies. I am not a regulatory body who cannot speak to it, but I recommend everyone do their research. So after top coat, how much more do I have to wait? Good question. How long have we been going? How long have I been talking since I tacoed? Now, it really depends on the top coat that you're using. I can't stress this enough. There are some top coats that I have used from the dollar store that basically never dry, and I find that very frustrating. But then there's other top coats that are much better at doing like a really good glass seal. They dry quicker and they solidify stronger, so that even if I like accidentally bumped into something now, it would be a lot harder to create an impression in my nail. And then we get to the bed sheets question. Any tips on avoiding the bed sheet imprints on top coat? Sometimes it will feel dry to the touch, but then I go to bed and the next morning the imprints are there still. So that, my friend, is a product of using a not good quick dry top coat. Sometimes you can have a top coat that dries quickly to the touch, like you could touch it and it feels dry, but it's not actually properly cured. It hasn't like usurped the polish. That's like the worst way of explaining it. Sounds like an alien invasion. But there are some top coats that can deceptively feel like they're dry because you kind of touch it and you're like, oh, it feels good. But then you go to bed and then there's imprints in it. And that's because it just doesn't have a good catalyst that actually like seals the polish properly and prevents any other objects or impressions from being made on the nail. That's not a scientific explanation. That's just me like trying to find words to explain something. But like, there's just some that are better than others at actually properly sealing in the polish and drying properly. So if you've had a bad top coat that just isn't doing that for you, just try another one, honestly. And there's so many people who you can look to in the nail community who can make you suggestions for what they think is a good quick drying top coat, because they are not all the same. And if you're still worried about sheet imprints, I guess the first trick is not to go to bed like immediately after painting your nails. I would, just for safety, just to be conservative, probably not go to sleep within like an hour of painting your nails. And my personal experience, like I've painted my nails at like 10 p.m. before and gone to bed, you know, at least lied down in bed at like 11:30 and had no issues while using Glossy Taco. So there's really nothing that we should be doing, nothing that we're doing differently, right? Like, I don't know, maybe your bed sheets are different at creating imprints, but like that shouldn't be a good enough reason, right? What is the difference between Glossy Taco and Flaky HOLO Taco? Flaky HOLO Taco is a special effects pigment, as I was explaining earlier. Flaky HOLO Taco is not a quick dry top coat. You can't have both. I mean, you could, but it creates a lot of issues in terms of the pigment. You need to pick which one you're doing. That's why so many companies kind of have two different things going on. Here we're prioritizing pigments. We need the pigments to disperse properly in the bottle. They need to apply evenly, and it needs to last in a different way than like a Glossy Taco bottle is going to inevitably be exposed to air over time. So companies, nail polish companies, will normally split it into different categories. Like, here's the pigment, here's the polish, here's the color, the paint, the materials, the special effects, and then here's your top coat. So they're separated for good reason. It's like two-in-one shampoo and conditioner. It's not as effective for many reasons. You think it's better, but like, yeah, because it's more convenient, but it's just not as good at conditioning your hair. You want to separate them. It's kind of like that, maybe not exactly. I think like the better analogy to that is 2-in-1 base and top coat, which I think is kind of not that effective. But you're always going to have the pigment on its own, and then the next step is the quick dry. So this is a pigment, this is the color, this is a special effect. It's not quick dry in and of itself, but you can add a quick dry top coat to make the manicure quick dry. Can I file my nails? Can I file my nails when my polish is completely dry? Can you file? You could, but if I filed my nails right now, it would just eat at the polish. So like you could, but you would end up shaving off the tip of the polish. But like, it's possible. I just don't think that's common practice. So in terms of how dry my nails are now, like I would say they are dry. What has it been, like half an hour? So they're definitely dry to the touch now. I wouldn't deliberately try and like stab them up though either. I still think you want to be careful, be on the conservative side. But here, if you did want a close-up of my paint job. Oh, is that a fluff that I just pushed off? Didn't get stuck. You can see my cuticle work. There's a tiny little gap there, but that's really the most, the cleanest way to paint your nails to avoid getting it stuck in your skin. And then if you check out the tips of my nails, you can see that there's polish on the tips. And that will help with long-lasting wear, because your tips are the first thing that are gonna, you know, like tap into something, grab at something. So you wanna just seal off the tips. And then I've also kind of got it a little bit under the tips. I wasn't really, you know, thinking deliberately how far under the tips. It doesn't need to extend that far under the tips. And there are some of you who don't have tips because you have shorter nails. But for those with longer nails, yeah, I kind of like rescind it back just a bit. But it's not like I turned my hand over to do that, right? It just kind of happened naturally when you carry the brush this way. It just kind of happened. Let's check out my thumb. oh so glossy? Yep, that's Glossy Doggo. Another reason why like you should be using a top coat is not just so you can seal your nails, make them dry, and then get on with your day, but it's also because like shiny, right? Most nail polish will not dry this shiny. Like it doesn't happen because they're pigment focused. They're not a top coat. It's not a glass seal. So you really want to add that glass seal to, you know, make it shiny. Like a new car, like a brand new car. All right, how long has this class been? Oh my God, it's 1:30, which is 11, 12, 2.5. It's been 2.5 hours of class. Are you still with me? Did you use Super Glossy Taco or Glossy Taco? I use both of them, but I've generally just been using Glossy Taco because I know that is the one that is available to everyone internationally. Super Glossy Taco is only currently available domestically because it can only ship within the US. So I just use Glossy Taco right now. Class is still in session. You missed 2 hours of class? Alina Jasmine, I am calling you out. You were not here at the beginning of class and you showed up late. All right, well, I mean, like, I could do another few questions. I answered the biggest ones, the biggest misconceptions, I think. But if you guys have more questions while we're here, I've got my like weird color coordinate uncoordinated Manny here. But yeah, how are you guys doing? Check in with class. Did you guys have tea? Did you go pee? Is it almost lunchtime? May I please go to the restroom? Yes, Denise, you may go to the restroom. Make sure to come back promptly. What do we think of this look? Does not match the fit. Happy Valentine's Day. Can I have a hall pass? No, Zoe. When are you going to release the board? What do you mean by board? You mean this? Not the taco. You mean the mat? At some point. I have finalized it because I am happy with it now. But things still take a fucking long time to produce, to manufacture, to perfect, to quality control. Also, COVID has not helped. What is your suggestion on keeping nail polish bottles in the refrigerator? I feel like, okay, this is very controversial. People have strong feelings one way or the other. I have personally never found it to... Sorry, I like drank too much tea so quickly. I have personally never found that nail polish in the refrigerator has any meaningful effect on the performance of the polish. I feel like I always heard that growing up, and I kind of think of it now as an old wives' tale. Like, okay. I mean, you can put nail polish in the fridge if you want. I just don't really see how that actually helps. Like, why does refrigerating paint make it easier to work with? If anything, you would think, although I'm not a scientist, you would think that slightly warming up paint, just a little bit, not overheating it, would help it go on smoother. But like, I don't know. So I don't see a benefit to storing your nail polish in the fridge. I think what is important, and I definitely know this has an effect, is not exposing it to direct sunlight, not exposing it to direct heat, and making sure you keep it at room temperature. Those things absolutely have a negative impact on the length of life of a bottle of nail polish. And also keeping it capped, right? Don't leave it uncapped for longer than necessary. You want to seal that paint up and keep it in a dry, cool place. You know, like they write those disclaimers on things like keep in a dry, cool place at room temperature. Yeah, do that with nail polish. They don't mean the fridge though when they say that. My mom puts nail polish in the fridge. I don't understand why. I mean, like, let her, whatever. Your mom can be wrong. You can hold it against her the next time she tells you you're wrong. You can be like, well, you put your nail polish in the fridge, Mom. So what do you know? You'd need a whole fridge for your nail polishes. It's true. I would waste so much money on fridges just for my polish. Imagine 2,000 bottles of nail polish. Imagine I go to the appliance store and I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for a really big fridge. I need to store 2,000 bottles of nail polish. Can you help me with that? Batteries in the fridge? Oh my God, I think I knew people who did that growing up. I have no idea if there's any legitimacy to that. Because, like, I don't know anything about batteries and the chemicals in them. Like, maybe there's a reason. No idea. I would need a walk-in fridge. Yeah. I need the silicone mat because I'm painting on my table and it's getting messy. Yeah, always dress your table up. You want to make sure that you aren't spilling polish. A silicone mat, just for those who don't know, a silicone mat is like a baking mat, kind of. Well, not all baking mats, but silicone is really easy so that you can paint nail polish on it, wipe it off easily with acetone, or just let it dry and then peel it right off later. But I'll save that explanation for a future time. Yeah, it's okay. So back to the fridge conversation. A fridge might be useful for someone in a really hot climate. So when I say room temperature, that means like, I don't know, 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but like the average room temperature. If you live in a situation where you can't keep products at that room temperature because it's too hot, then maybe there's a reason why people use a fridge to cool it back down to closer to room temperature. But like at the same time, you don't want your nail polish to be 0 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. You don't want your nail polish to be close to freezing temperatures. What about reapplying Glossy Taco after a few days? Great question, Kim. And I actually highly recommend that. So over time with regular nail polish, it will become a little bit less glossy. You might, risk a chip at some point. It's always going to happen. No nail polish is impermeable to life unless you do absolutely nothing, which, sometimes I do absolutely nothing with my nails. But yeah, I think it's good practice. Maybe it's day 3, maybe it's day 5, maybe it's an entire week later, depending on how long your nail polish has lasted. But you can extend the wear and shine of your manicure by just adding another Glossy Taco like later on. And when you do that, make sure you wrap the tip again. And then you're kind of just like adding an extra layer of security later down the line. So yeah, that's a great idea. You should make a nail polish called banana. We did. Frozen bananas. Thinking of bringing that one back in stock. Because I miss it. Man, do you want your polish back? I really need that video of you painting Ben's nails. Yeah, I know. I agree with you. So does Ben. We are going to do a short nail stream. But that's going to be like its own topic. I hope that today I covered some of the basics of how to actually paint nails, how to make nail polish last longer, some of the troubleshooting around it, the importance of prepping your nail plate to make it last longer, what I mean by strokes, wrapping the tip, glossy taco tips, and just using plain cremes, just simple things, just nail polish things. I didn't agree to anything. Yes, you did, Ben. Ben, you've been swatching. You're like an expert now. What advice do you have for people trying to work with polish companies? This is the nails for noobs. Wrong stream. I also think that's like a very small minority of people watching. Most people aren't trying to be, professional swatchers. You'll totally get frozen bananas if it comes back. All right. I gotta see. I gotta ask the lab politely, nicely. Today was a lecture for the basics of nail painting. Exactly, Shristi. Do a poll. A poll for what? Oh, for how many people want to actually be swatchers? Actually, you know what? I am kind of interested. This is okay. Before I do this is not me soliciting people for HOLO Doggo. I'm just curious who exactly is watching this stream and what level of nail painting involvement in your life it is for you. So with that, do you have any interest in putting it on the Menchie and being a professional swatcher? Nail swatcher. I'm typing slowly because my nails. Yes, I am currently. Yes, I'd like to be and am trying, meaning like you're currently taking pictures, you have a nail account, you are actively trying to pursue it. That's what I mean by you're trying. Or, nah. So do you have an interest in being a professional nail swatcher? And this isn't just fun. I mean, it is fun if you like doing it, but it's work. I just want to make that clear. I'm just interested how many people in here. So go ahead and answer that poll. I want to know how much of this audience is, in deep. How much you guys are in deep in the nail community? Because I do think most people, that's Menchie. Here, I'll go to Menchie. I think most people, obviously, they have lives, they have jobs. They're not necessarily interested in being a professional swatcher, which can be a whole job or a side job. I think most of our swatchers do things outside of swatching. Like they have their own jobs and then they're just kind of like independent contractors for swatch purposes, just like I was, for many years. But it is a lot of work, but it's only work done by people who enjoy that kind of work usually. I think if a swatcher gets sick of it or they decide it's not worth it, they're gonna just not do it anymore and then they'll just pursue other things in life. Okay, so 71% of you say nah, not for you. 28% says yes, I'd like to be and am trying. And 2% are currently. So interesting. Okay, so there's 2% of people in here who are currently nail swatchers. Hello. Yeah, and I know the definition of professional is subjective. Like I don't know. Who's a professional nail swatch? Who's a professional anything? I don't know. So yeah, I get that that's not necessarily helpful. I guess my definition of that is like, have you been solicited by companies, nail polish companies, to receive their product and be compensated for your work? I mean, I guess it's not just, I mean, you should be compensated if they're gonna use your work. You know what I mean? This is a whole other conversation. We did talk about this on the podcast once. Actually, if you're interested, Ben and I did a podcast last year on the nail art community, and I did talk a lot about PR, how things work, swatching, compensation, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's a whole industry of people who just really like painting their nails who have turned it into a small business, and I think that that's great. So yeah, 71% of you guys are normal people. So yeah, this isn't the stream for that, but it is kind of good to know what proportion we're looking at here. Thank you, Laura. What new collection? Oh, the winter shimmers? Is it coming? Yeah. Me and my skin rashes would like to thank you for this educational content. Thank you, Barbara. Barbara is mad. Skin rash crew, what up? I got this hand has skin rashes. My face sometimes has skin rashes. I can promise everyone that 2% is not all the mods. Yeah. Yeah. It's not just the mods. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end it there. I think we did a good job. I expect to see all of your nail painting submissions on social media. So if you can hashtag Paint with Simply on Twitter, on Instagram, tag me, and then I will see your work. You know, whatever you painted today, I just want to see what you did. It doesn't have to be exactly this. That'd be very strange if you followed this exact color combination. But I will see you guys on Wednesday. I haven't decided which game we're going to play. It will be another gaming stream. And then back to nails or general related on Saturday. When is the final exam? We'll have to do like another class. Like we'll do a intermediate class. We'll do a short nail class. We'll do maybe like a nail art basics class, although that's more like expert level. There's so many iterations of classes, guys. We're gonna be here forever. Make sure to leave your feedback for the evaluation in the comments down below. I appreciate constructive feedback for how I can best answer your questions and try and get all the information into one stream, which is impossible. So I'm not trying to get all the information into one stream. No baking stream? I mean, we might do a baking stream at some point. Thank you, Miss Rotenberg. Bye, Miss Rotenberg. Thanks, guys. You can call me Simply. All right, guys. Shout out to the mods. Let's send the mods some mod love. You can use the Xyler holding the wrench emoji. Is the international symbol for Simply Not Logical live stream mod love. And we appreciate the mods, my teaching assistants, of course. And I appreciate everyone who showed up to class, whether you were here live with me or you came later. I still appreciate that you took the course, and I look forward to more courses with you guys. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for swatching. And I'll see y'all later.